I hope you're all ready for a peaceful practice. Go ahead, ladies. Have a seat on your mat. Let's take comfortable cross legs, Sukhasana. And let's just focus on sitting up nice and tall. And once we are seated nice and tall, let's breathe deeply. Let's notice how our breath is moving in our body tonight. Noticing if your shoulders feel a little bit stuck. Maybe beginning to create a little movement through head, neck, and shoulders. Let your arms relax. Check in with your body. And let's begin to draw some small circles with our head, rolling one direction gently. Continuing to breathe and still sit up tall vertically. And we'll change direction. Slow rolling the other way. Noticing the moment when you find that untangling sensation, the release. And back to center. Let's start to, instead of just through head and neck, let's now move the spine side to side slowly. Just waking up the sides of the body as we bend to the right and bend to the left. And now we'll begin a circling action with our trunk. Continuing to check in with your breath as you're moving, making sure that you're getting some deep breaths into your body. Now let's change direction. Our spinal circle becomes as big as we can create it. Right, remaining balanced as we're swirling. And back to center. Sitting upright. Notice again, did the shoulders feel a little sticky? Let's create the movement now through our shoulders. Notice I'm lifting shoulders up, rolling them back and dropping them down. Arms can be really anywhere, relaxed arms so that you can focus on your shoulder rolls. You could even alternate. That creates a really nice sensation. And let's come back to center again. Leg straddle. Straightening legs out to our sides. Rebooting your seat. And that means that you may need to shift a little bit through your pelvis, through the hips, a little shift or tilt. And you sit perhaps even more upright. Broadening across your chest, so organizing your shoulders so they're on the sides of the body. And let's fold gently forward. No need to force anything to happen here. Let's just ease forward, and breathe deeply. And honestly, your hands could be on the ground. They could be on your thighs gently, on your shins, on your toes. What feels better and brings you to a greater sense of balance. So each pose that we practice together tonight, we're going to be there for many breaths. So enjoy. Please find your deep breaths while you're in each pose. And we'll sit upright. Right, check in again, posturally, again, vertically tall. Bring just your right leg into an angle, sitting upright, because we need this vertical line to move from. It gives us a really great sense of direction, and your spine is always aligning with that vertical line. So now we're going to just take a tilt, right? We warmed up side bend already. So we're going to side bend over the left extended leg. Notice a little rotation happens to bend over side leg. I'm resting my lower left arm on my leg. It's a nice, easy feeling. Connected. Breathing. Now, if you want to intensify the stretch at all, arm up and over. Two more deep breaths. And now we'll slowly bring ourselves back to sitting upright, changing legs. Left leg comes into bend. Right leg extends off on that straddled trajectory still. Leaning to the right side bending over the right leg. And then maybe you decide to lift your arm, extended arm, honor your body, because maybe you did feel better doing this, and that's cool. One more deep breath. And we sit upright. Good job. Bringing both legs to this angled position. So we create butterfly legs, Baddha Konasana. Sitting upright as we feel our footprints connecting, and that connection starts to help us tune in to the stretch that we're generating through our inner groins and thighs. There's also a nice broadening, stretching across your chest and shoulders, chest expanding. And maybe from upright, you begin to softly bend forward. Find the place in Baddha Konasana, in this butterfly pose, that feels good in your body, where you're getting a good, valuable stretch, where you feel steady with ease. One more long, deep breath. And we'll slowly organize our body to sitting upright again. Now, this is going to be slightly familiar, but this time, right leg is straight forward. Left leg comes into angle. Janu Shirshasana, head towards knee pose. We're folding from our hip hinge. We're lengthening the spine over our straightened right leg. Are you ready to change sides? Let's sit up. And now left leg will straighten forward. Right leg creates the angle. Let's find upright again, right? Upright in our seat to fold from our hip hinge. Let's stay directionally. Folding forward, lengthening left leg, and our spine is lengthening over the left leg, over the mat. One more long, deep breath. And we'll sit up. Let's change positions. Let's come into our tabletop on hands and knees. Moving through a few rounds of cats and cows. So we're going to curl the spine inward to cat and move away, right? Tail and nose move away from one another in cow pose. So exhale, bring tail and nose toward one another. Inhale, move away. And each time we're creating a curling action or a curve in the spine. And our curves are shifting. All right, let's move back to just neutral hips, neutral spine, our table position. So right leg moves forward to the front of the mat. We're laying out another angle in the right leg, centering ourselves so we don't want to teeter or rock too far to the right. If you are, course correct, back towards center. Your pubic bone is sinking towards the ground, so your pelvic floor is rooting down, but it doesn't have to touch the ground. Stay on center. Lengthen your body from the tip of the toes behind you to the top of your head. And then you could be really just wanting to yield a little bit more down towards the ground. Elbows are an option. You could stack your arms and rest your head. That can be a nice option. Which hand-arm placement really felt good? Do that one and breathe deeply. In yoga, the breath that we mostly use is called Ujjayi breath, your victorious breath, your three-part filling breath. 3 parts that are being filled are your belly, ribs, and chest. Feel those places, belly, ribs, and chest, inflating fully when you inhale. And feel them contract and empty as you exhale. All right, slowly move out, and we're coming back to tabletop. Cat-cow poses again, exhaling into cat, inhaling cow. Now, when we tabletop, meet me please in tabletop. We've done this, and this is our frame of reference. It's where we kind of center to transition. So your bottom stays high and centered back there, right? Your tail stays up. And for puppy pose, you lower your heart as you extend your arms forward. And you yield weight onto your heart and chest and to your chin. You're unlocking a key action of yoga called chin stand. And it's lengthening your body. It's lengthening your spine, lengthening your neck and throat even. Puppy pose is also a very deep or intense shoulder opener. Find your deep breaths. And we peel ourselves back up, and we're on tabletop again, meeting in tabletop. Left leg comes forward to create our angle. We're going to another pigeon pose. Centering, sinking the pelvic floor downward. Finding our deep breaths, and maybe sinking down a little further to elbows, to forearm balance. Honor your body, and please breathe deeply. It's a good experience. One more long, deep breath. And we rise up from our pigeon pose to all fours again. Cat-cow flow. Exhaling cat. Inhaling cow. And together they create a beautiful spinal flow called Chakravakasana. So really enjoy meeting each segment of your spinal chain slowly in your movement. To feel the tilting and shifting of your hips, your pelvis. To feel the shifting and gliding of your shoulder blades along the back body. Those are important actions to remember how mobile those spaces are. And now please take a little puppy. Let's bow our hearts and chins to ground, puppy pose. And discovering our three-part breath, right? Feeling belly, ribs, and chest. Let's peel ourselves up from puppy. And notice that the legs don't stay together. They're gonna separate, right? My legs separate and I'm sitting back centered. So there's a little bit of heel under the outer part of the leg, Virasana. You know, just a tip moving forward for when you're spending time in a pose, taking a yoga block and putting the yoga block under your hips, right between your feet, right between the width of the legs, and using the block as a little bench can be a really nice sensation. But since I'm not sure you all have yoga blocks with you, I'm taking mine away and coming back into the pose. So if this is a lot, again, the block makes it really nice. Just place your hands on the ground. Take a little bit of the stress out of the low back. In this moment, surrender to the heaviness of your base, your bottom. And yes, there's a stretch in your ankles and your feet, through your hips. Now, instead of forward, let's take hands back. So we're going to lean back into it. But as we lean back into our handprints, we shall raise our hearts upward. Lean head back gently. Let's balance and breathe deeply. One more long, deep breath. And we'll move ourselves to the upright position again to shift back to one of our starting poses. Let's straddle out again. Straight legs straddled out to our sides comfortably. shifting, rooting down into our seat so that we can define that really valuable action, hip hinge. Knowing this helps you protect your back and move mechanically better, anatomically better. It's a good thing. Check in with your spine, that the lower back, the mid back, and the upper back, they're cooperating and they're coalescing together as you lean in. One more long, deep breath. We'll move to upright, sitting upright position. Right leg comes into angle. And we lean to the left, right side bend. Side body stretching over a nice long left leg. Let's trade sides smoothly. Right leg straddles, left leg angles, leaning over to the right. Side body lengthening as we bend. Back to center. Footprints together, Baddha Konasana, your sitting butterfly pose, sitting upright, tall in our butterfly to start, and then maybe adding a little forward fold. You decide how far you fold forward. May you discover that place in the pose where your breath and your body feel in harmony. Now we sit upright again. It's just a matter of, we're pretty mobile when we're in our seat. At least I hope you can think of yourself that way. I'm just demonstrating mobility here as I move my right leg to the front of the mat and left leg swings back. Pigeon pose. We're here again, centering, sinking the pelvic floor downward, groundward. Remaining balanced on our arms. They give us that sense of centered. And pick the arm position that suits you in this pigeon pose. Taking another long, calm, deep breath. And we'll rise up. And again, mobile. You're mobile. Moving, shifting smoothly to the other side. Rearranging your pigeon. So now your left leg is at the front of the mat and your right leg lengthening behind you. Recenter. Root down. Continue to lengthen. And perhaps lower. Slowly peel yourself up out of your pigeon. And, we did our puppy poses and we've done some good stuff so far to check in with our shoulders and notice, where you might be packing in your tension. Now, a really good yet still intense shoulder stretch is called knot pose. And we haven't done this in our candlelight yoga sessions yet. I'm going to do this sitting here. So I'm in that Virasana variation for a moment. You're going to cross your arms, right? Crossing arms. And then the energy of the arms is, reaching to the sides of the rooms or stretching to the sides of the rooms as the arms knot. Now, the real trick here is when we knot, we're actually going to be laying on our arms. So it's important positioning to be here and not here. Got me? So as we come down to the ground, arms stacking, again, crossing, taking that knotting action. I'm twinkling my toes back here. I actually use my toes to help me maneuver. If I'm too far forward, I can shift up and over. And we start to breathe. We're still lengthening, stretching arms across the room. As we start to sink the weight downward, you feel the stretch intensifying across the back of the shoulder blade. Around the sides of the backs of the shoulders. All right, now it's important, right? We picked one way. Right now, my left arm is on top. Now we gotta change the arms. So my left arm goes to the bottom, right arm comes to the top of my knot. And again, we shift around as needed to find center again. Arms reaching across the room as we lengthen. and sink. Developing the shoulder stretch as we take these many deep breaths together. One more long, deep breath in your knot pose. And then we'll rise up. Shift back to child's pose. We haven't done this one yet tonight. So your bottom can stay low. You lengthen the spine and surrender your heart and forehead towards the ground, into the ground. Balancing on forehead and breathing deeply, engaging your 3-part breaths, filling belly, ribs, and chest completely. Child's pose is a really wonderful place to come to find your deep breaths, to get a sense of that 360-degree breath awareness, filling. And you also get a really lovely, gentle, but thorough spinal stretch within child's pose. Another thing I love about child's pose is you can adjust your arms to really meet your needs. Your arms could be straight forward, they could be a little bit bent, they could be a lot bent. What feels best in your body to help you balance along and across the ground in the moment. And if you'd please peel yourself up from the child's pose, just to go ahead and look at the screen. I promised you another variation of pigeon tonight, a really nice, relaxing variation. So just watch the first one, lying back, knees bent, feet flat, crossing right leg over the left. And I'm going to keep left footprint on the ground. So this is the pigeon, but I gently rest. This is how I like it, to place my right hand gently on my right inner thigh. Your left footprint steady. The base of the spine, your tail is heavy, right? Plug that into the ground. And then come up to the bottom of the skull, right? The base of the skull. Plug that into the ground. And breathe. Allow your shoulders to relax. Now taking the right leg, we're just going to place right footprint on the ground. So I roll this pigeon that we started with, I roll it to the left, right footprint to ground. And then we engage a little more stretch by externally rotating, right? Pressing the right thigh away from you. Anchoring shoulders back into the ground. We can call this our twisted pigeon. All right, let's move back to center. And we trade legs. So your right footprint's on the ground and your left leg crosses. And we're having that space in the thigh, the figure 4 crossing. The left hand gently rests on left inner thigh. Breathe deeply, right? Filling belly, ribs, and chest. 3-part breathing. In fact, you can feel your breath filling your front pockets as well. Now let's twist our pigeon. Okay, we'll rock our legs to the right. The left footprint sets on the ground and our left thigh peels back. Shoulders anchor back. Twisted pigeon. All right, we come back to center. And knees to chest pose, please. Give your legs a hug. And start to allow your hips and glutes to soften just a little bit. Shoulders too. Finding a really nice sense of balance as you hug your legs lying here on the floor. Take a moment to just soften any hard edges that you might be feeling. Checking in again, finding your deep breaths, finding that deep flow of breath. And now let your feet fall softly back to the ground and extend your legs. Rest your body. We're going to take our final pose, final relaxation, also called Shavasana. So as you lie back, let your hands rest, your feet rest, your head and rest of your body. Heavy, surrender. Continue to breathe deeply. remember the 3-part breath. It's an important part of your yoga practice. And it will serve you outside of your yoga practice hugely. Really explore the depths of your breath. They really introduce you to the depths of your relaxation. Now is the time to learn. Each day we meet someone new. We're exposed to new thoughts, new ways. Use every opportunity to add to your knowledge. Go with an open mind. Relish the chance to learn. Enjoy the challenge. Seek perspective. Abraham Lincoln once said, "I do not think much of a man who is not wiser today than he was yesterday." I hope you had a chance to learn a lot about breath and body control tonight through your yoga practice. Start to twinkle your fingers and toes, rising back to the surface again. Thank you for meeting me on the mat tonight. Sweet dreams. Namaste, yogis.